Welcome to our next session on AI Automation Expert course. Today we will see some important concepts about retrieving and storing, manipulating data from SQL database. Actually, we know that we have saved the data into the database in addition to Excel sheet, Google Sheets, or Airtable, or any kind of database. We can also store the data into uh, SQL Server or any other RDBMS databases. So these are very important because many companies use these databases like SQL, Oracle, etc. for secured data storage and retrieval and manipulation. So today we will see how we can retrieve the data using SQL in the Supabase database. So last session, I have explained about the Supabase database. So it is nothing but a online database where you can store our data, company's data. Uh, Supabase provides many facilities like secured login and APIs out of the box. So it manages the database, backups, everything. So it's a SaaS based. To be precise, it's a database as a service they are giving. Not only database, but also they are giving the API, database management layer. They are giving. So I have already logged in my Supabase. We go to dashboard. So I have one organization where I have three projects. It's saying. So I click that. These are all the projects I'm having. So I think last session we created the new project. So the project is paused because I'm using the free version of Supabase. So when I'm using a free version, Supabase expects us to use this project continuously. If we are not using the project for a specific amount of time, I think around 2 weeks, they will all automatically um, change the project to paused state. They will also send a mail that your project will be paused. But because if the project is active, resources has to be allocated. So it's because it is a free tier I'm using, so they are passing it. We can always come back and deactivate. So for example, if I click this, I say resume project, so it will get resumed. The project data will be restored when it was initially restored to when it was initially passed. So the same status will be restored. So it is saying restoring project. Project will be restored in a few minutes. So it's checking for other status, like when the restoring happens, whether it is restored or not, that kind of status is checking. Meanwhile, we will go to our site W3 Schools, where earlier we have seen HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now we will go to SQL. Okay, SQL is nothing but structured query language. Structured query language. So it's a query language means you can query the databases, RDBMS databases. You can query. So the language used to query the RDBMS databases like MySQL, SQL Server, even MS Access, Oracle, PostgreSQL, and other database systems. Okay. So basically, I told you already that Supabase uses PostgreSQL. So in PostgreSQL, we can use SQL, that means SQL. So it's actually called SQL in short. So SQL we can use to retrieve and manipulate the data from Supabase database. Okay. So um, okay. So what is the basic statement? So this is a example of a SQL structured query language. Select star from customers. So here you can see the select and from are marked as marked in blue color. So these are keywords. So select should be given as it is. It is not case sensitive, so you can mix the cases also. That's not an issue. But the select keyword should be exactly having the same spelling. Spelling is important. And from also is a keyword. And there are many keywords in SQL which we cannot use it for other purposes like variables, etc. table names, variables, or structure name. We will see all those things. So select star from customers. So star indicates everything. Star means everything. Customers is the table name. We know that the tables can be created in Supabase. I hope our is saying unhealthy. I don't know what it is. Okay, now it is healthy. Okay, unhealthy means we need to see till we see the log or other areas where the details of why it is unhealthy that we will not know. So okay, now it is showing healthy. That means it is retrieved. It is not in the past state. Okay, let us see the table editor. If we go to table editor, there are three tables. So yes, this is what we have created. This table, this database is what we created last class. So we have seen like these database, Firoz, Rafiq, Bharat Builders, okay, all these things are logged. So now I want to, okay, through NI10 we have retrieved. From NI10 we have added the data. NI10 we have, actually we have not retrieved in the last project. In the last NI10 workflow, we have only logged this and we have seen from here. But suppose if it has 1,000 rows, okay, for example, and I want to retrieve those records based on a condition. Okay. For example, I want to know where the task is having only budget or urgency is very, very urgent. Something similar to that. Or name is Rafiq or name is Firoz, for example, right? So I can use SQL. How to use SQL? There is a SQL editor here. You can see in the Supabase itself, there is a SQL editor. So if I go to SQL editor, okay, I click this. Okay. So here the SQL editor has come. Now here is where we have to type the commands, SQL command. For example, here that what is the table name? There are three tables: lead, test, and new. So there are three tables. Okay. So now I go to SQL editor. I go here. So there is a select star from customer. So I copy this. I paste here. There is no table called customers here. We have a table called lead. So I replace the customers with lead. Select is a keyword. Star is to mention all records. From is also a keyword. So this means select all the data from the table lead. That is what it means. This table means what? Select all the records from the table lead. Okay. To be precise, from the object. It could be table, it could be view also. There is something called view that we will see later. So select start from lead. So if I have to execute this. So I have to execute this in order for the records to be retrieved. Right. So how to execute this? See here there is a run button in the uh, middle right of the screen. Run button. So I click this or it says control enter. You can see control enter is written near to run. So if I press control enter or click run, this query will run. This query will be processed by the Postgres database internally, and it will go and search for the table called lead, and it will fetch the records. So if I select something, you might have noticed I selected lead. Then see the run button has changed to run selected. So this is another way. For example, if I have many queries here, I have only one query, right? So suppose I have run select star from lead, select star from there is a table called test also, right? So if I want to execute one query only, so what I have to do, I have to select and then control enter or run selector. Otherwise, if I simply click run, all the queries in the query editor will be executed. This we need to make sure that you understand this. Because if by mistake, suppose if you give more queries and you just click run, all the queries will be executed. This we should be very careful here because there are statements like delete, update, etc., which will update the data. Okay. So once you delete, you cannot retrieve back unless you are using a transaction. So you have to be very careful in what you are running, especially when you are working with the SQL editor, not only in this database, but also Oracle, but also because you might be working, your client might be using, MySQL, your client might be using SQL Server. Okay, so any database, any RDBMS database, you will be using a query editor. Okay, even other NoSQL databases also, you will be using a query editor where you will be typing the queries. So in NoSQL databases, the SQL cannot be used, but here we are using the SQL. Okay, so in the query editor, you should be always careful when you are running the query. So you should be careful about which query we are running. Okay, now we select this, select star from lead, and then say run selector. A limit some lead does not exist. Say okay. Let us see what is happening. Okay, it is called public.lead. Okay, so go here. Public dot. Okay, now you see uh, that the records, whatever is there in the table, same records have come. So you might ask, what is the use of this? Because the same data that we are seeing here in the table editor, we are seeing there also in the SQL editor. So what is the use? So now the use is like you can specify some filters. Okay, where condition you can use. Where name is the column name. Okay, name like I use the keyword like here, like select I use the keyword like. So this can also be in capital letters or small letters. That is not a problem because any keyword you can use it in a mixed case also, but the spelling is important. So I'm saying Firoz, Firoz. So I'm saying the name should start with Firoz, but it can end with anything. So in order to specify that it ends with anything, I put the percentage symbol here. Like how we used in select class star for all the columns. Here in the filter where class, we are using the percentage. Here you can see where also is the keyword. So this can also be in capital letters or small letters. Okay. So let me execute this. So select this and run selected. So now you can see there are IDs 1 and 4 that are displayed here. Okay. Only 1 and 4 are displayed where it shows the name exactly starts with Feroz. But here we have the same name. So here you don't see the difference. For example, if one name is Feroz Ahmad and one is Feroz Islam. So both the Feroz Ahmad and Feroz Islam will come here. Okay, that is the uh, job of this filter class, where class. So we are saying where name like Feroz. So you can say for example, here in this fourth row in the subject, the keyword budget is not there. The keyword budget is not there in the subject column. But here in the first row, the budget is there. So I want to know, suppose if I want to filter out where name is Firoz and also the subject contains budget. So what I should use is I should use the and clause here. So and I'll just copy paste this name. Instead of name like I put subject like, for example, budget. So I don't know the budget comes the beginning or end. So I put percentage in both the ends. Okay. So now if I run this, you can see that the row 1 only has come because 1 and row both has the Firoz, but only the first row has the subject with the budget keyword. Okay. So this is how we filter. So there are many other filter operations. So what I see is many of our participants have not yet tried with the Supabase. So please log in into Supabase today, okay, and create a table, insert data. either through Innate, better you do it through Google Sheet. Okay, Google Form, Google Sheet, from Google Sheet to Supabase. Please take it to Supabase. And then what you do, just try this command. Select star and select with the where class and like class and and class like this. Okay. So once you are thorough with this environment and select statement, then we will see other things in SQL. Okay. So please practice this. We will meet on Thursday.